Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.
All right, y'all. Welcome to Accidentally Informed, where
we can't guarantee that you'll learn something, but today you definitely will.
I am Claudia Jordan with my beautiful co-host Erica Cobb. Today we're back live. A lot has gone on, a lot has transpired. But Erica, how are you?
Oh, I am wonderful. I am fully rested, which is amazing because I got to spend time with my family over 4th of July break. So that was great.
I saw you all over Instagram and you were definitely living that soft life. You were on boats. There were lots of Caucasians around as well, right?
What?
You just looked like you was doing like wealthy white women shit. I like to say black women too, because there are lots of black women that are very wealthy as well. So
yes,
I don't think that's just a white woman thing. So, but I just saw you on the boat, like you was like on a river.
Yeah, so my parents decided to buy a home on a body of water. And my mother decided that she was going to get a legacy boat, and we named it after Big Mama, so it's called the Dottie Mae. Yeah, it's nice, and we get to come together every year, and it's like, my parents, I'm like, it seems soft life, but my parents worked very hard. So,
of course, but yeah. Listen, I love referring to you as my friend that has a soft life.
I'll take it.
You're not one of those, all my life I had a struggle. I love when I see you doing like bougie stuff, and I love it. And I thought it was beautiful. I was here for it.
Well, I appreciate it. But my situation last week was nothing compared to your situation last week. So I really want to get into it because nobody's thinking about me in the lazy river. Okay. Let's be honest, because you had a trip to Essence Fest. Of course, you are promoting your movie. Give us the deets really quickly on that again.
It's a sci-fi movie. It comes out in theaters. Like, it's a national release in all these theaters. I know people. I know. I've done a lot of Tubi movies. Not mad at Tubi though, but this is a national release of a film. It's called Run, science fiction, and I can't wait for you to see it.
And it premieres August.
Oh, I didn't say it. I have not slept release from Essence. So
I know.
August 29th in theaters everywhere. And there will be a premiere, I think, in LA, New York, and probably Atlanta. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I'm excited to support you. We are proud of you. But the story that people were talking about this particular weekend was that there was a reunion of sorts with one of your former co-hosts, Funky Dineva from TGIF. And this story got a lot of traction in the headlines because, myself included, I was a fan of TGIF, and, I followed the story. And when the fallout happened, a lot of us had questions. So for you guys to get together in this way, and we're all talking about it, we thought that we would have Funky Dineva on with us today. So accidentally informers, please welcome Funky Dineva.
There I go.
I'm like,
I'm like, here go this Fox Soul shit again. It's just not even working. It's a raggedy. No, I'm joking. Erica, thank you so much for having me. What's going on, Claudia, girl?
What's up, Funky? How you feeling from?
Listen, I just did me a little piece of edible. I'm over here eating cotton candy. I got my vodka and cranberry, just like old time's sake. I am doing well.
Like, I'm back at work.
That part.
Toxicity. All right. Well, good to see you, and thank you for accepting the invitation.
Thank you for coming to the party.
Yeah. Listen, first of all, when my text messages go to my laptop, and I don't have all the numbers saved in my laptop. So I saw this number that I ain't talked to in a very long time pop up saying, "Are you gonna be in Essence?" Then I go to my phone, I see it's you. I'm like, what? I'm like, am I being like, is this for real?
So when did you receive this text message?
Was it Friday? It was Friday, right?
Friday.
Was it Friday?
It was Friday.
Thursday?
It was Friday. It was the day before. It was Friday.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Friday.
I left that day.
It was Friday because you said I was packed. I said, hey, are you coming to Essence? And you said, I'm packing now. I fly out later tonight.
Yeah. And then he was like, come to my party. And I was like, okay, sure.
Okay, and then let me get in my national talk show host bag. I have some questions. Thank you.
Okay.
So this olive branch we all saw unfold. So you're saying on Friday is when you reached out to Claudia, and then we saw the flyer go out on Instagram. I immediately hearted it with like the flames and everything because I don't know if you know this, Funky, but I'm constantly like, hey, you know what happened? Can we get some mea culpa? Can we like, I'm curious. I'm also, perusing some information. So Funky, when did you make the decision that you were going to reach out to Claudia, and why now?
2 seconds before I texted her. And like I said at the party when Claudia walked into the room, days leading up to Essence, old clips of TGIF were coming in my feed somehow. And believe it or not, since I departed the show, whether I curated it on purpose or not, that stuff doesn't pop up in my feed. And so like some of our best moments popped up in my feed, like Where Is the Leg? And like some of the other famous moments. And I just stopped for a moment and I was like, damn, like we used to have fun, and you spend that 30-second, 50-second moment just closing your eyes, just reveling in the fun of it all. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of softened my heart to the situation. And then knowing who Claudia is and what she does for a living and how popular she is, like it's not far-fetched that she would be at Essence. And I was like, shit, the show is over at this point. Ain't no need for nobody to be mad at no damn body because the shit's gone. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not one of those people that harboring bitterness, harboring anger makes you look old. You know what I'm saying? I think anger and I think bitterness, I think it's a waste of an emotion. And so I was like, shit, I'm feeling good. The clips got me feeling soft. I reached out to Claudia and said, hey girl, are you coming to Essence? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, you should stop by the party. And she was like, okay. And I was like, you know what? Like, we'll really mess up the internet if I put you on the flyer. She was like, go ahead. And
what's funny? You don't know this, but before you text me that, I had drafted a message saying we should really fuck him up and announce it. And then I deleted. I go, no, he might think I'm being thirsty, trying to cloud chase. I was in my head, so I deleted it.
And then I sent it.
And I was like, fuck yeah, let's run it up. So,
And it worked. And what people witnessed was just, it was an organic moment. She walked through the door and I had the DJ stop and I didn't think about anything. I just said what I was feeling in the moment and what I had been feeling for the last couple of days.
It felt like I was getting proposed to from a boyfriend I ain't talked to in a long time. I couldn't act a fool because there was too many people in the room. And I was like, but then you're like, but it's nice, but it's still nice. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, I did see some people say, oh, they planned this. I'm like, no, there was no planning of this. And it was very organic. It was very in the moment. And I think you can tell from the reaction of the people that were there and from our faces. Like we were like, oh, okay. So yeah. It was nice.
I want to actually kind of unpack this too, because obviously, I mentioned that I did a national talk show as well, because I'm familiar with ensembles. And I think for the average viewer, the average viewer doesn't necessarily understand the chemistry, the dynamics, the complexity of being a part of an ensemble cast. And sometimes there's fallout, and clearly there was fallout between the two of you. So anytime, obviously most people, or a lot, I won't even say most, I won't quantify it, but a lot of people are super excited and happy about this moment. But a lot of people, because they personally relate to you as a person and a personality, have feelings about what happened and how we are today. So I know that this is all love and everything's positive. I just want to go over a couple of comments that came through to give you guys an opportunity to respond. So, Claudia, I'll start with you.
Okay.
Love me some funky Dineva, but where was he wrong? Claudia should be apologizing. Didn't she betray him?
Don't answer that.
Well, in the comments I said I did.
Yeah, but I like, Erica, in all, I mean, we can go through them. I just don't think getting into the weeds of it all makes any sense at this point. What happened. People are going to feel what they feel. Claudia has her vantage point of what happened. I have my vantage point of what happened. Al has his vantage point of what happened, and it ain't changing. You know what I'm saying? All we can do is bury that. You know what I'm saying? And just choose to start anew. But I don't think getting into the minutia of audience comments and what folks got to say, I don't think that's the smartest thing to do at this time, in all honesty.
And no, and I completely respect that. I just want to be very clear too. Claudia has not seen any of these questions because honestly, the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I think if you speak to anyone who's been a part of an ensemble, especially after years of being together, people don't really understand that, like, it's not, I would always say about my co-hosts, like, I will love them forever, but there are times I just do not like them and they don't like me. And that's just what it is, because it's almost like this, it's a family dynamic. Sometimes you have your family together and you're kicking it once a year on the lakefront. Sometimes you have family members who just can never make it to the lake, going back to, you know, what we were talking about earlier. So I just find it interesting because I'm not trying to like stir things up. What I'm trying to do is resonate with the audience that just feels like maybe this is indicative of something that they've experienced in their lives. And this is something that they're working through as well. And I think that there were a lot of reasons why this became a viral moment. And one of those was the study of human behavior. How do two people who had a public falling out get to this point? And that's the only reason why
I get it
to bring that up.
I get it.
Yeah, and Erica's very thoughtful about these types of things and likes to do the deeper dive. Her podcast about the comeback and coming back from things. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Did you know my thing, Claudia? It spawns 9 million other YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? And it spawns team wars. You know, like how do you answer that? Doesn't Claudia owe Funky Dineva an apology too? And then you don't say what they want you to say, and then it creates 400 think pieces. And then, you know, in moments of weakness, we start reading that stuff and start believing that stuff, and we're back where we left. And for me, I don't want to go back, but
I hear what you're saying. I think with us moving forward, I think what would be good probably for us is a conversation about anything that I had without an audience.
Most definitely.
I think, because I do think that there is no way to truly move on from things. Just, oh, we're good, because things will just come right back, right? The first time something goes left, bitch, I knew you was like that, or I knew they told me you burned me again. And I do believe in having like I remember doing some reality shows with some people where I said, turn the cameras off because I want a real conversation with this person, because I actually am trying to get through it. I'm not trying to have a moment. I'm not trying to have a viral moment. So I do feel like I would love to come down to Florida, or if you ever come to Dallas, and have a real conversation where we work our, you know, like, no matter what happens, if we work together or not, we showed on that video that there was still some love there for each other. And I feel like it kind of healed a little part of both of our hearts that day. I don't know. I don't want to.
I agree. I mean,
it was like, okay, one less person
it doesn't like me or put negative energy. I completely feel the same way. And I just think it's just one of those things that's, what's done is done, and what's going to be is what's going to be. For me, again, being bitter, being mad, being angry, I think it's just wasted emotion. I think enough time had gone past. And listen, outside of work, we were a good time. Like when you guys came down to Miami, we were a good time. We used to have good times. And like I said at the thing, we had lightning in a goddamn bottle. We really did. And there was no reason. Well, there was a lot of reasons why TGIF didn't go to the top, but there was no reason that show couldn't have gone to the top with what we had. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be the first person to say, I definitely miss the magic that we used to make, but I don't miss the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people were asking, you know, do you regret leaving? I absolutely do not regret leaving. I will never regret choosing me over what was a toxic environment. I can miss the magic we had and still hold disdain for the bullshit that was the whole show. You know what I'm saying? So for those who are wondering, no, I don't regret leaving. Leaving was the right thing for me to do in that moment. At that point, it wasn't about the show. It wasn't about Al. It wasn't about Claudia. It was about, I didn't like coming to work being stressed out, and I didn't need the money.
I know you said that you left over the 250 and then
I was part of it as well.
Yeah. What was the bigger deal for you?
I don't know that one was a bigger deal. I think, well, I do know what the bigger deal was. The bigger deal was the everyday bullshit. The bigger deal was every day coming to work and it was a gripe from somebody or somewhere. And it was just like, God damn it, what is it today? You know what I'm saying? And so
I have a different memory because when we left, when it ended, it was like January, right? When you left. But right before that November, remember we went to Houston and we were all having fun together. And after Houston, I felt like we weren't beefing, none of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of like clowning Joyce in her little corny ass shoes. She had fun and we was having a good time. We went to the club in Houston, everything.
Good time.
Like, within a month and a half, your contract stuff came up. So it was like the timing of that. So really, we weren't beefing at the time when you left.
No, you and I weren't beefing. You and I didn't develop whatever until I departed. That's when things got cloudy for me. But there was still a bunch of chaos going on. It was just chaos that in my mind was just unnecessary. So when you're coming to work and it's just always something, I'm equipped to deal with monumental problems. I'm not equipped to deal with small gnat-like mosquito-like bullshit. And it was just always something from somewhere. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not calling on it. It was just always something. So I'm already sitting on pins and needles like, y'all know I don't like to work. Okay. I got to be here every day at 8 o'clock. And then I was misled in my original contract negotiation. And when my contract came up and they did not make right on what they misled me into signing that 6-month contract for, I was just like, there's no reason for me to stay. They're just,
which I knew nothing about.
You guys didn't know about my contract.
Yeah,
you guys knew about my contract.
We're all separate with us.
Yeah, we were all separate.
Did you know that at the time though? Because I'm just curious when you said that you were misled. Is that a situation where as time went on after the show was over, you learned new information that potentially changed your mind about how things went down or who might have been to blame?
No, there was no new information. I exited with the same level of clarity that I have today. The short of it is I was convinced to sign a 6-month contract, and I was told that what I was asking for during that contract renewal will be addressed at the end of that 6 months, because I was going to walk then. And I don't want people to think that, oh, I'm being selfish or I thought that I was bigger than the show. But the reality of the situation is I did not need Fox Soul to sit on YouTube. I had been on YouTube for, at this point, 14 years. And so I'm sitting in a space, essentially what I was helping create over at Fox Soul, I could have just continued to do for myself like I had been doing for over a decade at that point. So it no longer began to make sense. And then the $250 thing, for me, it was just a respect thing. It was like, what job do you tell somebody, hey, Erica, you're part-time and we're going to pay you $10 an hour part-time. Guess what, Erica? We made you full-time, but we're going to cut you from $10 an hour to $8 an hour. That's not the way it works. You know what I'm saying? So why is it when we were 2 days a week, I was worth $10, but when we go to 5 days a week, now I'm worth $8? And then you say, oh, Q, don't worry. We got you. We're just waiting for the new ratings to come in and the new advertising dollars. And just sign a 6-month. And at the end of the 6 month, we're going to make it all right. So cool. That was the pretext by which I signed the 6-month contract. I had even forgotten that my contract was up. We went on break and legal department hit me in a frenzy. And they're like, your contract is up. Are you going to resign? So my agent and I are like, well, send us over the contract. And when they sent it over, it was the same exact contract that was extended to us at the beginning of the And for me, that's disrespect. All right. Listen, I know what I contributed to TGIF. I know what I brought to Fox Soul. And after the 250, we said, fine, we get it. There's no money. Can you at least put them on the health insurance? And when that man said he wouldn't even put me on the health insurance, I'm a former accountant. A company that large, it would have cost them $79 every pay period to put me on the damn health insurance. And the fact that you said no, for me, I felt very disrespected and I felt like I wasn't valued. So I said, fuck it, y'all can have it.
Can I just jump in really quickly? Because I can understand your position, especially because you're like a godfather of YouTube, like Black YouTube. So I get that, like, you're also in a position to be like, well, I'm already very successful on this platform, but I'm going to also kind of turn this question a little bit, because you seem like the beef was really with the network. And because Claudia was a part of the creative and production, were you conflating her with the network? Because we did hear you say that the problem was Claudia. I have to ask that.
Absolutely not. And in the moment, post the show, when I did my video and I said, I don't have a problem with so-and-so, my problem is with that damn Claudia Jordan, I meant it when I said it, because it was. Because of things that had transpired post me leaving, or things that had gotten back to me, and things that I had witnessed and been a part of while I was there. Again, and I'm sure Claudia can say the same about me, that, you know, she had issues or problems or opinions. There's enough blame to go around. You know what I'm saying? And it was a cornucopia of things. It was not solely Claudia. It was not solely Al. And it was not solely the contract. If I'm being honest, it was the day-to-day bickering and crap that was going on in the background. That shit was getting on my nerve. Had they given me my $250, I would have sat through it. But it was like, to sit through that, I don't feel valued and I don't need this. I'm cool. I just rather have my peace and be at home by myself. I don't need it. And that was the blessing of it all. I did not need the job.
I'm taking it back. The part where you said that you're standing on saying that was me at that time, because when you left a really beautiful message for Al and myself. And I believed it, that I love y'all. We'll work together again. And we have some text messages where I said, we can even take this off of Fox Soul and we can avoid a lot of the drama. I think a lot of that was that. So I thought you were just saying that in anger. And I actually thought you weren't going to stand on that. I feel like there was a lot of manipulation that was going on, and we don't got to get into that in front of everybody right now, that you weren't really getting the real exact story of everything. And I'll just leave it at that, because it went from love, I love you back, you know, we're going to do this again, we're going to spin the block, to me being the villain in the story, where it was that damn Claudia Jordan. I'm like, wait, what? Because I was looking at my text thread with you where it was love outside of the cameras when it was just us. So that's when I said it's your thing. I was like, I was hurt, you know, by that, because I'm like, wait, there was enough drama for us. We all have had some drama there, and we've all had our crash outs. You know, we worked together for 3 years, 5 days a week. 3 years we did?
Yeah, just about.
So, you know, there's been times where I had to bite my tongue when you were acting unprofessionally. There was times where you had to bite your tongue when I was going off on Joyce. There was times when we both bit our tongues when Al was crashing out and doing his thing. So, you know, it was a family, as Erica said, but it was a dysfunctional one.
It was a dysfunctional family. It was.
The highs were really high.
They were.
And the lows, to me, weren't worse than the highs. The highs were great because we had more good days than bad.
We did.
I heard from your mouth that you do not like to work, and you made that very clear. I need to be at the bar on Friday night. I don't want to work 5 days a week, and we made it to 4. And I will say, with all that went down, not many people can say they had a show on linear television 5 days a week for 3 years. 4 seasons, really. And what we did was a big deal.
It was.
It was. And started during COVID when everybody else was losing their jobs. Yeah. We created one, we had one, and it flourished and it multiplied. And like we said at your event, Africa people, European people.
We had everybody.
To this day. And that means a lot, you know. But
you know, we can't go without giving credit to Claudia, who was the brainchild behind bringing all of us together. You guys know how it started with us kicking it at Cynthia Bailey's wedding. The story's all over the internet. You guys can go back and rehash it. But, you know, yeah, you felt something, you saw something, you brought us all together, and it was magic. And, you know, it's the feeling that I miss. I miss the feel. Like I'm telling you, when I saw those clips and just me cracking a joke and like your natural expressions when I'd be going, and then Al over there laughing uncontrollable. It's like a drug. I miss that high. I do miss that high. And I just wonder if there is a world, a universe where we get the high back without the bullshit.
That would be amazing. But I don't want you to leave this with feeling like it was some kind of, set up like that.
I don't feel that. You don't even.
I'm in my head like, oh shit.
No.
I don't feel that way at all. And if it would have been, I would have windmilled the hell out of both of y'all.
I know. I was like, okay, but look, I do want to say, as the voice of the audience and as an outsider,
of course,
both of y'all sat down and did very extensive interviews with Carlos King.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned so much about both of you. Mm-hmm. And I thought that it was an amazing opportunity to get something that we wouldn't have necessarily have gotten. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell anybody who hasn't seen that there's an understanding there. It's not that I know people are accusing me of being the mess. And I'm like,
let it be you for one time.
I know, it's like, I'm kind of excited to be the mess. I never get to be the mess.
Erica, you better know how to fight because it's a hard position to be in.
I'm like, that's okay. I'll be in the water. No. But I really want people to understand that, like, obviously things happen. I really want people to understand like the dynamics and complexity of the both of you. I can't speak to what happened. I just think that was a really great opportunity to understand something that we wouldn't have gotten. And I wanted to throw that out there.
Indeed. Carlos is good at what he does. And listen, again, if you put everybody from TGIF in a separate room and let them do a confessional, everybody has their perspective and their vantage point of who was right and who was wrong. And everybody stands on how they feel. We all went through the same thing from different vantage points. And who's right and who's wrong? The answer is none of us are right and none of us are wrong. We're just human beings. We had an experience with a network and a show, and the experience was what it was. I think at this moment, it's just about what we can take from it, what we can learn from it, how we can grow from it, and hopefully how we can monetize the shit.
I want to read a couple comments. Well, just one right here. TTLL Shady says, I'm not crazy about either of them individually, but I love TGIF with them.
Okay. Oh, hey, listen, we'll take it where we can get it.
Oh my God. I want to say this. Hey, so seeing how, your text me started from you kind of going down memory lane with nostalgia. Let's talk before we let you go. Mm-hmm. Favorite moments. I have one that was really funny that I just saw on someone made a short. Do you remember the time where we were gonna go? Was it the Bahamas or something? And Al tried to like big time us and say that the private jet that there was too much of a tailwind. And he was like, you told me that you couldn't get your passport on time. And me and you were like kiki, and he was like turning bright red.
I don't remember that moment.
I'm gonna send it to you. It's so funny because like we would gang up on each other before it got kind of when it was like not nasty.
Right.
There would be a playful gang up, and that's where the magic was. Like some days it'd be me and you with the shits. Talk like clowning Al for his bullshit. Some days it'd be you and him against me and saying your shit against me. And sometimes we would get on your ass about your little nasty stories down to the bar. And that's when it was like, to me, that was like the prime of Foxhole. And I will say, I keep bringing this up because I don't want you to leave thinking like the end was really bad, because before it ended, we actually were in a good place. I remember Al was texting me around New Year's Eve, and that for us to be texting, that means we were cool. We had just come back from Houston. We had a great time in Houston. Me, you, and him were good. And then it went left, and then it got ugly with other people throwing stuff. But I remember even in Houston, we had a great time. Do you have the leg thing and the Christ, the Savior?
Christ, the Savior was born. When Queen Elizabeth's husband died.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one.
That really was.
Wendy Williams on the lymphedema machine. That was a good one. We had a lot of good moments.
We had a lot of really funny ones. I love that the internet like puts together kind of like shorts and all that. But I know this ran a little bit longer. I know you probably got plans tonight. Now I've seen you in your situation. Now you look very happy.
Thank you.
I know it's hard to reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a long time, and a lot of people don't do that. So I want to give you your props for doing that. I do appreciate, no matter where this goes, I will always be happy that you did that, because it's very easy to be in your box with your fans and your bubble and your people that fuck her. You don't need to call, fuck, you know what I mean? And me too. So for you to do that, I really appreciate that. And that's really why I was emotional at your event, because usually I don't get that. Usually people just write me off and like, well, I don't give a fuck about her, whatever. And I love that you even just reached out.
And thank you for being receptive.
Yeah, I will always be receptive. And there's only one person in the world, you know who the girl is. It's a girl, not who you all think, that I will never sit down with, but everybody, and not from Housewives. That pretty much I do like to talk things out with people. We have more days behind us than ahead of us.
Listen, nobody stole from nobody and nobody slept with nobody, man. So it really ain't no reason why none of this shit can't be solved.
Your man was looking at me though at your party.
Oh, girl, please. Yours can't do what mine do, honey. Go on somewhere, honey.
And you can't give him what I can give him. Anyways, thank you, Funky. Where can we find you? You're all over the place.
Y'all know all social media, Funky Dineva.
And
thank you so much for being here. Work. This is the first time we're actually really meeting.
It really is. We've communicated on social media over the years. As a matter of fact, you went live. Daily Blast Live went live the same day Sister Circle went live.
Yes.
You guys did. So
we were owned by the same.
Yep.
Yep, we are owned by the same group. A lot of people don't know that.
We were mad with y'all because they gave y'all all the budget money and wouldn't give us none.
Oh, Erica is rich. You didn't know that? Erica is rich.
No, y'all over here talking about numbers I still haven't seen, so I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I was like, how much were y'all making? I need somebody to talk to on my behalf, because I never saw that number, not independently.
Oh God!
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies.
I'll
be in touch. I'm in Atlanta a lot, so I'll hit you up.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Bye. Thank
you. Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Wow. All right.
Well,
I know.
How are we feeling?
Did you have a bunch of shady tweets that you was gonna read? I knew when that came up. I was like, he is not gonna like that.
I didn't. Well, I also didn't ask you.
I know. And I'm like, and here I'm thinking he's gonna think I'm in on this. He's gonna think I'm like.
That's why I made ask him this. I wanted to have an actual dialogue, like we're having a sit down, because I wanted, there were some questions. And here's the thing, I know people were upset with me. I really wasn't trying to be messy. Wasn't my objective at all. And I appreciate you bringing up my brand, because I deal with Comeback with Erica Cobb deals with people who have been through setback seasons, relationships that have been through setback seasons. And it's really being very open with your testimony. And I thought that regardless of how people feel about what happened back then, what happened this weekend, this is a story about the evolution of human behavior. And I think that it's fascinating, and it's something that people can learn from if they're in the space to do it. If, they're looking at it like it's all about mess and drama, that's a different thing. And I appreciate that side too. But honestly, that really wasn't what it was.
Well, it's really hard to have a conversation to really talk about like, yeah, I did say that, and I did this because I was wrong. It's hard for anyone to do that, but even in front of a lot of people too. But I understand what you was not, I don't think you were trying to get a mess. You was trying to like get the full, complete, okay, well, you did say this. Well, you did say that. I get what you was trying to do. You was doing what a therapist or a real journalist would do. Right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. But,
I was trying. He asked for a Iyanla, and I couldn't give y'all that. But so I was like, let me get in my talk show host bag.
Right. No, you're great. And thank you. I think it's best that you just, went in your direction, because you were a fan before we even really met like that, right?
Yeah. No, for sure.
So you kind of was on the ride with us. Like you were one of the people that probably felt away when it went away. So it is interesting to hear what people that were outside of us felt and saw. So,
and again, honestly, I didn't want to, I wanted to give y'all a chance to, obviously I'm not a part of this story. But much like a lot of people who felt the connection with you guys, that was a part of how I changed how I responded to people on set, regardless of what was said or done to me.
Really? What do you mean?
Well, because I know that in an ensemble situation, and I was on a national talk show for 7 years, and we had a multitude of co-hosts who came in and out, and things get misconstrued really fast. Sometimes it's intentional. Sometimes it's like a very bad game of telephone.
Yeah.
And it's really about the idea of how you're responding. And I started to see at a certain time how these things come to pass. So that made me want to be more protective of the brand as a whole. And you can talk to especially the OGs that were, 5 co-hosts, we were all together from the beginning to the end. Like, I was always the one that was like, let's create a safe space here, because I understood that if somebody went rogue or two people went rogue, it had the ability to tank the ship. And it's just what it is, because networks, especially at that time, were really looking for any reason to, say, well, okay, we're going to pull the plug. So it's like you almost have to play it so diplomatically, and you have to create this united front. So it's hard. It's hard to trust people, especially when everyone has things, that they have at stake.
I will say it was the perfect storm of sabotage, because there were things in place that were not really set up for us to like win. We had different leadership there. When James DeBose was there, he was there from the beginning. He's the one I actually pitched the idea to. So when he was there, he was a little bit more protective. He understood the vibe of the show. He understood when we were fighting, what that really meant. He would take one to the side and have a conversation, and he had leadership. When he left, and then Joyce had more of a leadership role. She was a horrible leader, and I don't care if she sees this and hears it, because I've said it to her face. And I think if you have a horrible leader like that, combined with other elements, combined with not being happy with getting a raise, not feeling appreciated and getting, put on the insurance or whatever, it's the perfect storm for it to go left very easily. Because when the show ended, we were not in a bad place. With Funky, myself, and Al, we were actually finally all getting along. Me and Funky really didn't have any fights. We had a couple of disagreements, but we would hop on the phone or email or talk later, and we would actually work through it. Al and I, for some reason, our personalities, like, he'd be mad at me. He's like, fuck that bitch, and would text people that. And I would say the same thing about him. You know what I mean? Honestly, I'm going to own my part in that. Yeah. So we just had a more difficult time with us getting back on track. So that, on top of incompetent leadership that is taking a side depending on the day, she would take my side in the beginning, then take Funky's side, then take Al's side, then go against. It was crazy. So we didn't have someone that would say, hey, stop the bullshit, big picture here. But even with all that being said, before he left for his personal reasons for work, we were in a great place. Like, you can look at the videos in Houston. We were laughing. We're all in my car, clowning each other. We had a great time. And I feel like we were so close to getting to the point where we may be able to get syndicated. So it was like, oh, why couldn't his contract be up like 3 months later?
Because that's how it goes, Claudia. It's the same thing he was saying about how all of those clips from TGI Fridays started coming up as he was going to Essence Fest. Like, that's a universal, we're in a karmatic circle. When you start talking about like you were so close to syndication, that's when the devil does the most. So that's when you have to be the most protective of, your energy, of the asset. And it's hard to do that when there's, some type of, when there's a breakdown, and it's hard to get the breakdown on track. So, I mean, that's all to say that maybe that wasn't what was supposed to happen. What was supposed to happen is what's coming.
Right. But, I'm a very nostalgic person. Like, I feel like I'm emotional right now.
Yeah, I don't find that to be bad.
I will share something with you. Over the past few years, I've been trying to like do work with like people I've had public beefs with and disagreements with, because again, I do realize we're getting older, and I feel like not even just like a we're about to die thing, but just like a peace thing. And people have said, you're glowing. I'm like, yeah, I've been eliminating as much drama here and there. And the beefs that I can squash, I am. So what people don't know is I've been praying for people that I felt hurt by, or we've had misunderstandings, for us to either have clarity, an apology, or be able to, hey man, it's not as bad as I thought. And it wasn't like, it may not have been this big grand gesture like, Claudia, I'm sorry, or Funky, whatever. It wasn't that, but that enough. Listen, from where we were with all the YouTube videos and all that shit and all that, to getting to a point where we embraced, he kissed me on the cheek, I left Essence feeling like no matter what happens, like I feel good that there's a period on that fight and that beef, because you don't work with someone every day and not have feelings for them about whether they get on your goddamn nerves or not. We laughed. We had like a lot of beautiful moments that we definitely shared, and it will always mean something to me. It will always be special. I know that we got a lot of people through some dark times during COVID between Cocktails of Queens and TGIF. And they were the top two. They would go back and forth with the ratings. Sometimes TV would be on top, sometimes Cocktails. But listen, I feel grateful that the Lord allowed me to have that position to like brighten other people's days, and not just me by myself, with amazing teams on both shows. And those days will always be special to me. You know what I mean? So someone said, please make up with me, Nene. I thought we were good. She went on Carlos' show and gave me props. I saw her at the BET Awards and I was like, I'm going to go up and say, I'm going to go up to the bar. I said, hey, Nene. And she said, hi. So I don't know if that means, but I'm doing my part.
Right.
Tamar used to be in a bad place. Me and her are now texting each other. We hung out at Essence. Who else? We can put a period in this funky Dineva thing. I tried with Tasha K, and we actually had dinner in Dallas, and then she wanted to flip it and change the narrative when she got on her channel. I tried. So I just feel like I'm lightening my load here with like the beefs. I don't like going, I saw my ex-husband, the guy I was married to.
Oh, yeah.
Awards, and I went up to him and I said, hey, I don't want things to be awkward between us. It doesn't make sense anymore. Like, let's make it, we can at least say hello. I mean, at one point we did think we loved each other, and it really wasn't for him. It was for me. And it feels really good. And I encourage anyone that has seen this whole thing unfold, do what you can. Like it will keep you looking young. It will make it'll make your stomach aches go away, your anxiety, your sleepless nights. Well, I have to work on that. It just feels really good. And they won't always end the way you want them to, but they'll end the way where there's some closure. And you can at least, that person's not dead to you anymore. And as long as someone's not dead to you, there's always a possibility for something to happen.
Well, I think the peace and I'm hearing Big Mama say, peace be still. I think the peace within yourself too, because I think what we really miss is there is either this grand like coming together, or there's this disastrous, going or being torn apart. And when you were talking about getting older and making decisions or thinking about, the span of your life, what you start to see is that things are cyclical. And if you don't pass that test after that first cycle, that cycle is just going to come back to you until you're able to pass that test. And that's what I was kind of like, that's what I was feeling when I saw, that whole exchange and Funky agreeing to come on, is that this is an opportunity for you guys to pass this test. And it's just, regardless of what other people feel about it, it's what feels good in your spirit. And I'm just very honored to have been a part of like this.
No, you're the one that asked. You requested. You hit me up and you said, what do you think? Can we get Funky on the show? And I was like nervous to ask him, like, I don't know if he will. Like, is it too soon? Is it too much? Or does it feel like we're exploiting this? I don't want, since I do be in the comments a lot, right? I do see a lot of the negative. And then I went to Essence and I saw a lot of the positive in real life.
Tell us more about your time at Essence, because we didn't even get into that.
Oh my God. I know a lot of people are complaining about Essence Festival. Listen, they did start hella late on some things. I mean, I did get out of that concert twice at 3-something in the morning. But I mean, we got so much love down there from all the sisters and brothers down there. Like my friend Annie was like, oh my God, like I rocks with this. Like this feels so good. Like the way they just come up and just pour their heart out to you and tell you how something you said inspired them, or a movie that they saw you in, they loved or didn't love or whatever. It was really, you know what it felt like? Since we've been going through so much as Black women, especially since this election, it felt like a hug amongst Black women. It really did.
Yeah.
It felt like a hug, like, I see you, sis. I see you, sis. We out here. We got each other. Like we out here fighting for the world again, trying to save the world. That's what it felt like. Boys to Men, I'm really good friends with Wanye and his wife Amber and Sean. We all travel, and his wife. We all travel and vacation together, which I'm inviting you to in September. They killed it. They went on at 1 o'clock in the morning. Boys to Men. They got done at 3. When I tell you, professional, good, like the energy of 25-year-olds. It was great to just see people, and like the moment with Funky, unexpected.
Yeah,
it was great. It was fun.
It's Essence Fest is healing, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
that's the prevailing sentiment. It's a healing family reunion that you didn't know you needed. I think that was an Oprah quote. Yeah, I could see that, especially now. Informers, I just want to, and then for all of you new people in here, we need you to hit that subscribe button, like this video, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And you can also follow us on social media on Instagram and TikTok. So we're so happy to have y'all here today. Should we get into some hot topics?
Yeah, let's get into it. All right. That was a lot, and I'm glad we got to do it. So once again, thank you, Funky Dineva, for gracing us with your presence and being open. So yes. All right. Now it's over for Dwight Howard and his wife. She filed for divorce just 6 months after they tied the knot, and people are coming for her. Now she's getting so much hate. Amy Luciani, she's getting so much hate that she dropped a note on Instagram. She said, I, till this day, have never asked him for a single dollar, not 30 cents. Before we married, I asked to sign a prenup. I mentioned a prenup first. He declined. I do not want any of his assets. Believe it or not, some of us women really date, marry for love. In the divorce, she is asking for alimony and for the marital assets to be split. Erica, as the married woman on this panel, what say you?
Obviously, anytime someone needs to end their marriage, is not a celebratory thing unless there's something that creates, a path for celebration. We don't know the inner workings. Obviously, there's been a lot about Dwight Howard out there. But I will say this, because anytime is particularly a woman dating or together with a man who has a lot of money or, has some type of assets that you may not have equal to, then it becomes a conversation about, oh, she's a gold digger. And I'll tell you, as someone who offered and suggested to my husband that we get a prenup, and there were a couple of reasons why. One, I knew that I was starting my company. This was very early on, and I wanted it to be very clear about what the ownership split would look like. My husband had assets before we got married, and I wanted to make it very clear that this is you, this is me. I am good. I will always be good. So I thought that took some of it out, and he said no. So, that's just but we also do our business like an actual corporation, to be quite honest. So everything is spelled out. There's no like one person's going to get over on the other type thing. So I get that having that conversation out loud is going to make people say some things about you and your thought process, but it's easy to have those conversations from outside of a union. It's when you're inside of the union and you see the daily that it makes sense to you. But obviously it's a sad thing. What are you thinking?
Well, if he didn't sign a prenup, then she should get something. I'm sorry. You're too old, too many years in the game, Dwight Howard, to like, no, I don't want a prenup. We're just so in love. Like, what are you, stupid? I want a prenup and I'm not a millionaire. Like, I'm having a prenup because the person you divorce is not the person you marry.
Right. That's true.
So the person that's like, oh, I love you. Oh, no matter what, I'm always going to have you back. That's not the same person you deal with when you're mad. When mad day comes, okay? It's a whole different person. It's easy to be kind when you're in a good place. When you're mad and mad day comes, all bets are usually off. So I don't know why he would choose to not have a prenup. But Dwight is an interesting character. I do not know him. I just see what I see in the blogs, and he's got a lot going on over there. And the most shocking part of the story was I didn't know that they went ahead and got married. I thought there was so much stuff going on. I mean, he had allegations of sexual abuse and assault against that young man. There was that lawsuit. There was all this drama with them. Then Royce was doing interviews, explaining her abuse, which they were really in-depth interviews. And I really felt for Royce Reed, the mother of his child. And, I'm not going to lie, Amy, I looked at you like, is this a look at an opportunity? Because I think she was going to be on Love and Hip Hop. Maybe she, because we all have heard the rumors about him, okay, allegedly. And she wanted to power through with that. So I'm thinking, was there a motive? Or I don't want to put this on her only. Or was he really a charming guy that really has a mouthpiece, which I think he does in more ways than one. I think he was really good at convincing her that, you know, probably love bombing her, saying all the right things. Oh, because listen, we've all been with a man that maybe has a bad rep or whatever. And when we're one-on-one with them, the things they can tell you and how they commit one-on-one. Well, what they don't know is I was abused as a child and I'm misunderstood. And then you want to be women. We want to nurture and we want to heal and help you. We think of all the people that came before us that we're that special one that can fix you. So we're like, no, I just see deeper. I see pain and I want to fix it. Ladies, knock it off. Knock it off. We're too old for that. I'm not doing it. I was the queen, fixer-upper, get a tear down, fix it up. It's not my job. You come to me healed as much as you can, or at the beginning of our relationship, let's agree to go to therapy, because obviously there's a lot going on there and he has a whole double life, in my opinion. And I just feel like, you know, I don't know, he was excited. And I feel like he was almost with her to like fight the other women that he had, because girls were reaching out to me to do interviews. I'm just saying. There's a lot.
Recently.
Back when I had my shows.
But why? So here's my question. If women are reaching out to do interviews, are they reaching out to do interviews because he's publicly facing with this woman, but messing with you and not publicly facing with you?
Sorry, my landline is ringing because my mother
your landline
does not know that I have a podcast after 30 years in the business. She just doesn't watch myself. I think that, no, one of the women I spoke to, I think when you're going against a really wealthy man, a machine is behind him.
Yes.
It's very unbalanced with whose narrative gets out. So I don't blame these women for, hey, I need someone that is a girl's girl I want to talk to, that can listen to me, that's not going to be like, you were just a gold digger and I'm that girl. I'm a girl's girl. It's a known thing, especially when it comes to Black women. I have your back and I will always, I understand that we have a special type of hate that comes at us from outside, from inside the house as well. Okay.
It's seasoned and unseasoned. We get a whole lot of seasoned hate, but we can't talk about that, can we?
I saw some goofy bitch make another video about me today. I'm like, when is it? It's been 11 years. Like, come on, lady. When is it going to be old news? Anyways, so I just feel like they were like, just kind of almost like a Hail Mary, like not desperation, but listen, no one's hearing my side. They're hearing his side. He's the wealthy one. And anytime it's been a divorce or a messy breakup with a really wealthy man and a lesser known woman, they get buried. Yeah. They get buried and then the person has fans. So I don't blame them. So they wanted to just kind of have their story be out there. But at the end of the day, a lot of people that have been in like rocky relationships, they almost always go back to protecting them because they're a little insecure about all the way coming out because they know no one's going to believe them. You was in it for the money. You knew what you was getting yourself into. Yeah.
Well, I think one thing that gets missed is it's safer to protect them than it is to protect yourself. And I think we learned a lot about that over the past 8 weeks with this whole trial. So, that makes total sense to me. And yeah.
Speaking of this trial, I know we're just kind of freestyling right now. I'm so sick and tired of seeing men dick ride Diddy they were silent the whole trial because they didn't know. They were like, oh, if he gets the big charges, I want to be on the right side of history. So they weren't saying anything. Nobody was standing up for Diddy when he was like in the throes of it. And now that he's been found not guilty of the greater charges, I'm seeing men rushing to lick the taint of P. Diddy. Lyrically, okay, the way men are online, like, oh yeah, that bitch. Now they're turning on Cassie and turning on the victims, and I'm seeing such awful stuff. Let me tell you something, y'all making it real easy to not date any of y'all because the stuff that I'm seeing is just super, like, it's beyond bro code. It's like a bromance. It's an obsession with Diddy. We all know a lot of things that this man has done allegedly that he didn't get charged for. So at the very least, we know he's a bad guy. He's not one of the good guys. Okay. He may not have committed a RICO, which I still think he did, but he's not one of the good guys. And the way these men are celebrating and tap dancing and twerking for this man is unbelievable. But Diddy, good news, when you get out, there's going to be a whole lot of people that are willing to put baby oil on them and maybe give you some of their, as Armand Wiggins says, finishings for you to rub on your nipples, because these men are on your dick. It is insane. Man, it's not the female groupies, it's the male groupies. They are dick riding super hard. They want to be a bad boy for life, I think.
Well, I had a recent conversation with it was about what's happening in the New England area. Apparently, it was a little out of my bracket. But essentially, a lot of young men are very lost and also changing their affiliations, their political affiliations on these apps, because they can't get matches because women aren't interested in being with men who don't believe that Roe v. Wade should that agree with Roe v. Wade being overturned, agree with the pro-choice rhetoric, all of these things that have been very systematic of, the far right. And I really I feel like that's just something that has been happening on both sides of the equation. And when people ask, how does an incel happen? Like, how do those things happen? Because women would rather not subject their mind and body to men who don't respect it. And it's been very
guy that voted to get rid of women's reproductive rights, especially these dads that have daughters. Fuck you. I'm not rocking with a guy that thinks it's cute to grab a man that's an undocumented worker who is here. His only crime is a civil one. His only offense is a civil one by crossing the border. He's not a felon. He's not a convicted felon. And now that they took due process out of the equation, you're just kidnapping people. If you agree with this administration, you can kiss my fucking ass. Excuse me. I know I'm messing. We are never going to get monetized. I'm sorry. But
we are monetized.
Oh, even with the cousin? Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. Let me know when we pay back all the debts and I can start collecting some of the money. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not rocking. There was a guy that I used to date that he has shown himself to be a very major Trumper. He's not a celebrity like that, but he's known where he lives. And I just have to not mute him, but we just don't allow, I don't even want to even talk to him for the next 3 years, because he's gloating, kind of obnoxious about things. I'm like, ew, I can't believe I used to like you. I can't believe I used to like you. I mean, you look good, but with between the ears, it's just you really believe this? Cheering for RFK, the former heroin addict with a brain worm that eats roadkill, that kills bears and drops them off in Central Park. You think that's the person that's supposed to lead us to proper health, good health? Question your brain. He ain't the only one with a brain worm. You might have one too. Real quick, we have so much. I want to get this other thing in. We went long, but it was good. Hey, speaking of the Diddy thing, real quick, another lawsuit came into play. A man going by the name of John Doe has filed the lawsuit saying Diddy pressured him to take drugs and do sexual things while in a warehouse filled with Biggie's clothes. His streams have gone up, but one of the stories said that Diddy, that's how mine says it, ejaculated on a Biggie Smalls t-shirt with Biggie's name face. Did you see that? Is that true?
I did see that.
What do you think about that?
What?
He used Biggie's face as a cum rag. His face on a t-shirt. So you're telling me this man, that other men are now online yeah, that's my dog. I told you be out. Yeah, be out. That's my dog. You dumb bitches trying to set him up. Y'all just money hungry. Now we hear that you busted off and came on a t-shirt with Biggie Smalls' face on it, and then threw the rag at this John Doe, getting residual jizz on his thigh. That's the guy y'all cheering for. And y'all wonder how I've been celibate so long. It's fucking easy. Okay. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. Who wants that inside them? I don't.
It's the ultimate it's people have their disrespectful actions, but then there are people who are maniacally disrespectful. This is a maniacally disrespectful act. it goes so deep in the dark side that like I really can't even wrap my head around it, nor do I want to try to understand it, because I think that's a realm that you can't, like, you know how sometimes you like find out something you can't unsee. Like I don't want to see something I can never unsee. And this is just something I don't even want to understand.
Are you imagining what that looks like with him?
No, it's like I'm imagining it's more the psychology behind it.
Why would you
Like,
do that?
it's because that's the thing. It's like to really understand it, to have that type of flexibility of thought, I think would take me on a path I don't need to go down.
Do you think when he was jerking off and he came on the t-shirt of Biggie's face, was he thinking about Biggie Smalls, or was it just the closest t-shirt that was there? Or was he thinking about Cassie? Who do you think he was thinking about for real? What do you think he was thinking about some of the other people in Bad Boy?
Honestly, if this story is true, it was to disrespect Biggie. I think that it's deep. I think it's super deep. Because for anybody to be that particular, like I think it was an ultimate disrespect.
Well, like a hatred towards Biggie, not like a lust. It was like I run this. Yeah, I do. I think he does probably use sex as a control and abuse as control. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, we got to leave on a high note because.
Yeah. Can we talk about something good and uplifting? I'm like, what do we have?
Someone wants to know how we got into the awards with no tickets.
Did you?
I mean, we weren't really set up like we were supposed to. So, you know me, Erica, I'm Miss Make It Happen. We don't have to have any tickets. And I'm like, we will be in the second row of the BET Awards. I just don't know how, but it's gonna happen. And it always happens. I always get away with it. So my friend Annie, my best friend Annie, she's kind of like me. Like we're kind of like not entitled, but very confident.
Yeah,
so I have to tell the story next week because it's too much but we definitely made it happen. And shout out to the accomplices that helped us through certain gates and set us up and gave us the risk. Like shout out to the people that looked out for us there. That's since out of time. And
you know
shout
what?
out to Erica Mena, Erica Pinkett, Annie Alonza. We were all there together and we had a great time. It was a girls' trip.
I like your style. I told you about how I snuck my way onto NAACP carpet.
You sure did. I love it. I'm with my tribe. Yes.
Oh my gosh. This has been so amazing. I hope you feel good, Claudia. You know, I ride hard for you. And I think that this is a positive thing for you.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you.
Los Lounge Podcast. We love you. I'm going to do his podcast. He asked me to do it. And Eric, I would love to recommend you to do his podcast as well. He's the one that makes those amazing videos of us.
Yes.
So we want to support him. Like he's been every single show from day one in the comments, reposts, cuts videos for us. So we have to definitely return the favor and be guests on his podcast and elevate him as well. Because he is so funny. So funny. Well, this was fun. I'm just exhausted, and it's just been an emotional roller coaster ride. And I have a thing where I need to like not look at that's who I am. Certain things, I mean, you're looking at comments saying, no, that's not really. I really care about the truth and how things really went down, and that makes it really difficult to be in this business or be. You're never really gonna get exactly represented or understood the way you see yourself or your friends. So. But steps in the right direction, I will always welcome.
Well, I appreciate you and Funky and y'all's testimony taking us back. I know it wasn't easy, so I really appreciate that. And for all of you who are in the comments, make sure that you subscribe. We are here every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central. So make sure you check us out live and join the conversation.
Yes. And before I go, everybody, life is short. Don't waste a majority of your life being angry, holding on to old things. It really hurts you more than the other person. It really does. So just release it into the air. And that's why I have no wrinkles and no pores. Look at that. That's my real skin. Look at my forehead. That's no makeup right there, y'all. That's my skin. Yes, it is. The mad girls, the angry girls are mad. I get it. On that note,
in person, so I concur.
This has been Accidentally Informed,
where we can't guarantee that you'll learn something, but today you learned a heartful, and we appreciate you.
I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week, y'all. and we'll be on the road soon.
Oh,
Bye,
yeah.
Erica.
Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.